Many higher-end LUMIX cameras feature something called dual native ISO. What does that mean? Well, every sensor has a native ISO or a base ISO. That's the ISO where it performs the best at. Any other ISO, anything above or below that number, is going to be gained up or gained down. So you are essentially sacrificing a little bit of performance. How much performance you're sacrificing will depend on how far away you're going from the base ISO and, of course, the camera that you're using. So what does it mean to have dual native ISO? Well, cameras with dual native ISO actually have two separate analog circuits, two different pathways for data, each one tuned to a different base ISO to handle that data the most cleanly, to give you the best image possible. So when you have dual native ISO, you can shoot at a low base ISO or a higher base ISO. Or you can set the camera to auto and let it choose which one to use. Let me show you. In the first page of the video menu, on the first image quality page, you'll find dual native ISO setting. And by default, it's set to auto. When it's in auto, if I bring up my ISO range, you'll see that it currently starts at 640, and I'm in Vlog right now, and we'll talk about the base ISO number in a little bit. And from here, I can roll this all the way up to the very, very top, which on this camera, the S1 Mark II, is 51,200. It's pretty high. Let's bring this back down, go back into the menu, and change it from auto to low. What that means now is that I'll be limited to the low settings, which means from 640 up to 5,000. I can't go higher than 5,000 because above 5,000 would be the second base ISO, and I've explicitly told it to keep me in the low range. Now as I go back into the menu and switch it to high, now my lowest ISO possible is 5,000, and the top goes all the way to the top of the range at 51,200. So in general, you want to stay as close to your base ISO as you can, which means if you're shooting in low light, you want to set it to the higher base ISO setting. If you're shooting in higher light, then you want to set it to the low setting. But what actually is the base or native ISO? Well, you can find out what it is for any profile by simply choosing that profile and going to the lowest setting. The lowest setting is the base ISO. So again, I'm in Vlog right now, and we already saw that the base ISOs were 640 and 5,000. But let's change the profile. I'll go ahead and set it back to the low setting, and then let's choose a different camera profile. Instead of Vlog, let's choose something more standard, like Vivid. In Vivid, if I bring up the ISO selector, you'll see that my lowest setting is 100. So in Vivid, or any of these standard color profiles, your base ISO is 100 in low. But that's not the only choice. If I choose Cine-AD, the base ISO here is actually 200. And if I choose HLG, the base ISO is 400. So the base or best ISO for any given profile does change. This is good to know. If you want the best quality image, and who doesn't, then make sure you know what your base ISO is before you start shooting.